Welcome to Lesson 7 of my Healthy Cooking Time Saver series. This is a great lesson to save for a Saturday or Sunday. And if you struggle finding enough time to cook throughout the work week, you will really appreciate this lesson. Today we're roasting enough food to last several days. And my husband is going to show you how he puts together one of his famous world-class chicken rubs. So let's get started. The first step is to rearrange the oven rack so that one is sitting in the middle of the oven and then the second one is on the bottom of the oven. Then I preheat the oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit and start with preparing the food that takes the longest amount of time to cook. In today's case, it's sweet potatoes. I wash my sweet potatoes and then individually wrap them in aluminum foil and place them on the lowest rack in the oven. The aluminum foil prevents them from burning, and after 2 hours of roasting in the oven, they turn into a delicious dish for tomorrow's lunch. I'll teach you how to upcycle leftovers in tomorrow's lesson. So once I have my oven preheating and my sweet potatoes in the oven, I then turn to my chicken. I always encourage people to buy whole chickens because it saves both time and money. Instead of making individual chicken breasts several days of the week, you can just make one whole chicken and eat on that throughout the rest of the week. In fact, you can even prepare 2 chickens at one time, save one to eat that night, and then eat the second one for lunches throughout the rest of the week. Just make sure you have enough space in between the 2 chickens in the oven to ensure an even cook time and an even heat. A lot of people don't like to work with whole chickens because they're scared of it, they don't know what to do. So I'll show you exactly what you need to do when working with a whole bird. Inside the cavity, you'll usually find a bag of neck bones and organs. Not all chickens have it bagged up, but you always need to make sure you check the inside of your cavity to make sure that there's no plastic in there. The next step is to wash your bird. I'm washing this under cold water and I'm just rubbing down the legs, making sure there are no feathers still on it. Sometimes there are, so you have to look out for that. Just give it a quick, thorough rinsing, shake it dry, and then put it on a roasting pan. Next, you discard your wrappings, wash your hands, and wash down the sink so that there's no bad bacteria left in the sink to contaminate other foods. Now my husband is going to show you how he does his chicken rubs.
Alright, let's get straight to it. So it's very simple. Most rubs are actually pretty simple. If you look at the ingredients of what's inside the rubs, it's not like they have some sort of special concoction. It's all just a combination of easy to find ingredients and seasonings and spices that anybody can pick up at their local supermarket. Just kind of throw random things and experiment. It's very hard to screw it up, you know, so you gotta be brave. So I'm gonna start off with putting the rosemary in the mortar and pestle, however you say that, I really don't know. But then you just ground it up. If you don't have this, you can get pre-ground rosemary, or if you really want to look legit, you'll get a mortar and pestle. I'm gonna take your time, sprinkle a little bit of thyme in there. Never get enough time. There's not enough time in the day. Oregano. Put some of that in, just a little bit. You don't want it to taste like pizza. Unless you do want it to taste like pizza, then go ahead and put more oregano in. Let's go ahead and throw in some garlic powder. You know, you can always just take a clove of garlic. You know the difference between a head and a clove of garlic. A head is the entire thing, and a clove is just a little piece. One time we asked one of our friends to get 8 cloves of garlic, and they bought 8 heads. I'm sure they're still going through some of it. Or you can just get some ground garlic powder and put some of that in. Put some seasoned salt in, because why not? Can't go wrong with a little bit of seasoned salt. Really, seasoned salt isn't anything too profound. It's just some like paprika, turmeric, onion powder, a little bit of garlic powder. So it's really nothing fancy. Throw in some ground crushed pepper here. Put in some cayenne. A little bit goes a long way with this stuff. Keep that in mind. And then round it off with some Hot Mother's curry powder. You know, it took me a while to have the cojones to start mess around with curry because I'm not a big fan of like ethnic foods. But one day I just decided to kind of go out on a limb and put some curry powder in my rubs, you know, and it changed my worldview, it changed my life. So highly encourage you to kind of mess around with curry. You know, you don't have to go all out with it, but the hot mod just really has a nice kick to it. Provides a nice undertone to the flavor, to the overall experience. And voila, you have a simple little rub, a little bit, rub it on. Get it, you know, get it all up on the outside here. And you know, I like to put some underneath here. It's a little trick I learned from Chef Sarah here. And now our chicken is nicely encrusted in Ralph's rubs.
It looks delicious.
Yep. All right. At this point, I'm gonna hand it off to the professionals here.
Gotta take the baby.
I hope you're gonna edit this
Oh, I am.
intensely.
I hope you learned a lot from Ralph. He makes some great chickens. I taught him everything he knows. So as Ralph showed you, he likes to do the outside of the chicken. It creates great skin that's full of flavor. But then it's also really nice to go underneath the skin. There's a membrane that you have to poke your finger through in order to get access to the rest of the meat. But if you put your seasonings inside that pocket, then you're going to actually season the meat. The last step to producing great chicken is to insert aromatics into the cavity, and you can even be creative and insert some apples. Even though I'm not going to eat all of this tonight, I love to throw in extra things to the roasting pan, such as carrots, lots of onions, because they make great dishes for a future meal. Lastly, I use my in-oven meat thermometer set at 155 degrees Fahrenheit, and I insert it in the thickest part of the chicken. That can be either the thigh or the breast. It doesn't really matter, whichever one is easier for you. You want to make sure that your probe isn't touching any bone though, because that will throw off the reading. The great part about an in-oven meat thermometer is that it will alert you when the chicken's done. So I set my chicken at 155, and as we talked about before, you pull it slightly early and let it rest. So my chicken is going to rest for about 20 minutes up to 160, and then it'll be ready to eat. And you'll find that this method produces a super moist bird. So this stays outside the oven. This part goes in the oven. And the cord is actually going to be trapped inside the oven door. Now my sweet potatoes are on the bottom rack. My pan of chicken, onions, and carrots are in the middle of the oven. And if there's any space left in your oven, you can start to roast any other vegetables you want. Roasting takes a longer time than a quick stovetop meal. But you will find that it really enhances the flavors of your vegetables and your poultry. So if you spend one day a week on it, on the weekends when you have more time, and just add a little bit of extra love, it will really go a long way, and you will be well on your way to creating a healthier lifestyle. Your homework today is to pack your oven full with fresh food. I'll teach you how to upcycle those leftovers tomorrow.